Oh man, y'all just came over here and y'all just want to take all these benefits and steal from us, and y'all just want to do that. And how about you go back to your poor ass country? Peace, peace, black family. So there's a movement that has been picking up steam in the African community, and it is called ADOS, which stands for American Descendants of Slaves. And you have another splinter group which is called FBA, which stands for Foundational Black Americans. Now, first and foremost, let me throw my disclaimer out there. I am not against anybody getting a check, get your money. I'm not pocket watching. I'm not hating. I support. I understand this is your homeland. This is your lineage. You know what I'm saying? I'm here just as a supporting cast member. I'm not knocking at all. I know personally from my heritage and what my people have been through, I know how I want to receive my reparations, and it's not in the cash form. But that's another video for another time. Long story short, I just want to say this for those who believe in this ideology of ADOS or Foundational Black Americans. There is no need to attack other African people to prove your point or your agenda, all right? You don't have to attack. It's cool to point out, yes, there are coons in all other ethnic groups. There are coons in Nigeria. There are coons in Haiti. There's coons that come from this African-American ADOS culture. You know what I'm saying? We have to keep it all the way a buck. You don't have to diminish other African people because of ethnic differences to boost yourself up. You get what I'm saying? And one thing we also have to realize is that African history, or black history, if you want to call it that, does not take place in a vacuum. All right? This idea that historically it is the success of America stands solely on the enslavement of Africans here in America is a very problematic, right, idea. And the reason why, again, is because history doesn't take place in a vacuum. We know historically that America wouldn't be what it is without American slavery, right? But also let's take in the factors of how specifically my heritage has participated in making America what it is, right? So we know that Haitians, unfortunately, have fought on the side of America in almost every war since the American Revolution. That means that there are Haitian people's blood in the soil of this United States of America. Our founding fathers fought in the American Revolution, fought in the Civil War, fought in World War II, fought in World War I on the side of America, okay? So we have to take this notion that black history, African history somehow happens in a vacuum, and that, you know, our history is somehow disconnected. We are all connected as African people, right? We know that the success of America is based off of the degradation and the exploitation of African countries. There would be no greatest country of America if there wasn't an exploitation of Jamaicans, of Haitians, of Trinidadians, of Ghana. Why do you think in the 60s they made it such a conservative effort to keep African leaders from black celebrities here in the States, right? Why do you think that they killed Patrice Lumumba? The death of Patrice Lumumba was orchestrated by the United States CIA because they understood that they have to undermine African power. They have to undermine, right? So that means that this success of America is based off of the robbery and thievery of Haiti.
And the worst kind of damage done to Haiti was the occupation in the 20th century, from 1915 to 1934. You know, you go into a country, bring American racist patterns to it, you know, destroy indigenous institutions, brutalize the people, lay waste to the economy, and then walk away and say, why is this place a mess? I mean, why is it a mess? You made it a mess. You know, they can't govern themselves. You destroyed the government. They can't think for themselves. You shot them when they tried to think. You drove the intellectuals out of Haiti. You suppressed their right to think. You know, and if that story is the story, then in fact we're not doing Haiti a favor, right? We owe them, right? We owe them. You know, this is not altruism, right? This is a debt that they paid time and time and time again. You know, these are not poor, benighted, backwards people. You know,
1915, right, to 1934, you will see that there's a part in there where America was going into, let's say, the Great Depression, right? Because the Great Depression started like in the early 30s, right? Maybe you could say the late 20s. America now comes out of that Great Depression. The United States comes out of that Great Depression around the same time that they're leaving Haiti, right? With over $15 million from the Haiti's economy, and leaving out of there with gold, they extracted all the resources from Haiti.
Here's what the U.S. did. When they came in the first time, they occupied Haiti. First, they changed all the worthwhile laws from the books. I'm sorry, that wasn't first. The very first thing was, Haiti was the only country at that time who did not have their money backed in the Americas, backed by the dollar. Our money was backed by gold. Our entire reserve, gold reserve, was taken away for safekeeping, we were told, and brought to Fort Knox. It has yet to return home. This was 1915. When somebody asks you, why is there so much poverty? When some white person says, oh, I want to go help the poor people in Haiti, so I'm going to bring a little bread and a little water for them. Ask them, why don't you just ask your government to give them back their gold? Right.
So that means that America's success is based off of the robbery and thief from Haiti and other African countries. So when we get this notion that, well, we made this country what it is, no, all of us, through our sacrifice, through the robbery of our own countries, right? America stealing from us has made America what it is.
Toussaint Louverture gave millions of dollars to a man named Stephen Girard. He was a European sea captain. And Toussaint Louverture gave him this money to get arms because they were going to set up a colony in Africa to fight slavery. And when Toussaint Louverture went to prison, Stephen Girard would not return the money to Toussaint Louverture and his descendants and his family. So Stephen Girard took the money, the millions of dollars that he got from Toussaint Louverture, came to America, started Girard College, and he really became the first American millionaire. And so a lot of people don't know that Girard College was founded on stolen money from Toussaint Louverture.
We have to stop thinking of ourselves of being in a vacuum, that my history is my history. That's why when I speak about Haitian history, I speak about African American history and its connection to our history, how we're connected as one. When I speak about Haitian history, I speak at how we're connected to Africa, because this doesn't take place in a vacuum. Your history, African American history, is not just African American history. It's African history in general. It's connected to the Caribbean. We all know the Louisiana Purchase, how the Haitian Revolution impacted that. We all know how the brother from the brother from Haiti founded Chicago, right? We all know how Haitians fought in almost every war the United States fought in. That's not, your history doesn't happen in a vacuum. So there's a lot of ignorance being spewed out here. There's a lot of misinformation being spewed out here. You know, yes, your ancestors were enslaved. Yes, your ancestors contributed to the building and making of this United States of America, but so has other African people. Other African people, blood has been shed here, right? We don't talk about the lynchings, how the United States Marines came to Haiti. Actually, Haiti has been occupied twice by the United States Marines, and they stole natural resources out of there to boost the economy. And I'm just talking about Haiti. Right? There's other African countries you can go to look up what I'm talking about. How America has stole and pillaged and raped other African countries to make the United States what it is today. So your history does not take place in a vacuum. We have to stop promoting this level of ignorance out here. Oh man, y'all just came over here and y'all just want to take all these benefits and steal from us, and y'all just want to do that, and how about you go back to your poor ass country? Well, our countries wouldn't be poor, they wouldn't be run down, they wouldn't be third world countries if it wasn't for the United States government coming over there and stealing their natural resources and sabotaging their governments, sending in CIA agents. Nobody wants to leave their homeland. Let's just be real. No one wants to leave the land that they've been at for 500 years unless there's some type of chaos. And that chaos has been created by the United States to keep the United States in a position of power. So when you have Haitians and Africans coming over here, it's because this country has destroyed their country. We have to start looking at it like this. America is a huge plantation, okay? The Africans who live in America are the house Negroes, right? Which means they have a little more benefits. You know, they eat a little better, they dress a little better. Nevertheless, they're still slaves, right? The Africans who live outside of the United States are the field Negroes, right? Their interpretation of what it means to live in the big house seems to be better, right? It seems to be, man, I want to get in that house. I want to be in there getting that good food, right? But what they fail to realize is that even though they live in a shack, they live in a shanty, you know, whatever the case may be, might be run down, where they live in the slave quarters, they have more of a level of freedom than the house Negro, right? They have a level more of freedom because after they're done picking cotton, after they're done picking tobacco, they can go back to the slave quarters, dance, have fun, chill, and do what they do, right? They have a more lax. This is how we have to start looking at it. This is how we have to start looking at it. It's a big plantation, right? The house Negro, right, which is us in the United States, are constantly being watched by the mistress, by the slave owner. And so we want to run away. This is why you have Africans in America who understand this. They trying to run away to Africa and to the Caribbean because they understand it's not a level of freedom here. You're always living under the microscope, right? And so this is what we have here. We have house Negroes trying to get to the plantation, and we have plantation people trying to get out the goddamn plantation. And then we all fighting amongst each other, and we beefing. Oh, you trying to get my position in the house. Oh, you trying to escape. You trying to rat me out. This is a fucking big plantation. I don't have time to be arguing over white people, they little pennies they want to drop to us. My whole thing is that this is my thing. You really want to talk about reparations? Let's talk about getting control of the whole goddamn plantation. I mean, let's just be real. You know what I'm saying? But that's another video for another time. We can keep arguing about little Negro pennies that they're gonna drop to us, and who put the most blood in this country, and who did this and who did that. We can keep arguing about that all we want. But all it is a big ass plantation, and we just arguing back and forth. And I know I keep doing this. This is the Haitian. What, you know, in Haiti, this can mean a whole bunch of things. But anyway, the whole point of this video is African history does not take place in a vacuum. And I'm not going to argue over white people's grace. That's what I call it. Reparations is a form of grace. Like, here, Negroes, here goes some penance, some repentance. Take that. I'm not going to argue over that with any other African. If you get it, I respect it. Get your money. You know what I'm saying? Haitians, other Caribbean people, we need to be fighting for our reparations if that's what y'all really want to do. You know what I'm saying? Fight for your own. But with that being said, man, until next time, family, think black, stay black, love black, support black, and that's real African black power.